Good day, guys. Today we're having a look at the matchup between Nd4 and MVL from the FIDE Nations Cup. This was a matchup between Russia and the European team. It's always exciting to have these two players battle it out. We are always promised to see fireworks on the board. So let's see what was played and how the game developed. So Nepo started with E4 and MVL went with his trusted Sicilian C5. Both of these players are obviously massive ambassadors of these type of sharp Sicilian lines and variations. So let's have a look at how the game developed. Knight F3, D6, D4, C takes D, Knight takes D, Knight F6, Knight C3, A6, and Bishop D3. This was a move that was blitzed out by Nepo, which I found very fascinating, as this type of move is not even remotely a top choice when it comes to these type of positions. More commonly known, as most of you would probably already know, is Bishop G5 or Bishop E2 as being the main continuations against the Knight F6 move. So yeah, I mean, let's have a look at how they continued. After Bishop D3, MVL decided to go with the Knight Bd7 variation. What I find interesting about this move is it seems like there's a lot of structural changes depending on where this knight moves to. If the knight goes to D7 and then to C5, or otherwise this knight also develops to C6 in some cases, which is a line that was played between Judit, Polgar and Vishy Anand. And what I've done is, if you guys want to have a look at the different pawn structures and the different positions that can arise from deciding where to put this knight on B8 on, I've copied the link in the description below, so please do yourselves a favor, copy that into your chess space and have a look at the game. You're obviously welcome to have a search on it as well. So the game continued with Knight Bd7, White castled, G6, F4, Bishop G7, Knight F3. These are all normal moves. Knight F3 specifically to avoid any type of danger along this diagonal. Queen B6 is quite a popular and normal move in these type of positions, but Nepo eliminates any risk by playing the knight back to F3, but more importantly, this knight also promotes chances at perhaps looking at the move E5 or similar type of ideas. So the game continued castles, King H1 just getting out of the diagonal as mentioned before, Knight C5, Bishop E3, and this is another interesting continuation, the immediate knight capture on D3, getting rid of the bishop here immediately. One might obviously make the argument that the amount of moves that the black knight has made compared to the amount of moves that the light square bishop has made is not really favorable for black, but at least this transposes to a position where black can actually fight for control over the center and gain some space on the queen side. So another normal idea is, if you see this type of position, quite normal is, if you don't want to capture the bishop on D3 immediately, you can always look at the continuation of B6, Bishop E7. There's some argument for putting the pawn on B5 as well, but it will always come under threat of pawn attacks. Another popular line is to play Queen A5, Queen D2, Knight takes D3, C takes D3, Bishop D7, Rook AC1 and Rook AC8, and this position and structure is considered to be to have a slight edge for black. I think black is quite fine in this position and shouldn't have any problems improving their pieces. So let's have a look at the immediate knight captures on D3. What happened after this was C takes D3. MVL went for the immediate B5 and Nepo replied with Queen D2. Interesting is Bishop G4, Knight D4, Queen D7, and F5. F5 is a good move to cut off the battery between the queen and the bishop. There was obviously if I just go back one move, type of a draw offer that MVL and Jan could have continued with. If Jan wanted an immediate draw in this position, he could have just played h3, and the perpetual is pretty much forced. So bishop takes h3, g takes h, queen takes, king g1, queen g3, and a perpetual will follow, as white is unable to block the checks with his queen, because this will leave the bishop on e3 unprotected. So it will basically be a forced perpetual. But instead Nepo chose for the more active and more ambitious f5 move. And after e5, knight c2, the game continued. d5, bishop g5, d4, gaining a lot of space for black here. Knight e2, h6, bishop takes f, bishop takes f, knight g3, bishop g5, queen e1, and now bishop f4, bishop h4 was played. Now I've had a close look at this position to try and find a better move for black here, as the suggestion is strong that black is actually holding on to a slight advantage after h5. So h5 aims to gain some space and attack the knight on g3 directly in the position, although I don't think it should have or create any problems for either white or black. It does seem to be quite interesting to have a look at it. h5, h3, h4, h takes g, queen takes g, and simply queen d6. So the entire idea is here obviously to get some strong activity on the open h file, attack the king, and the continuation that the computer suggested was rook f3, rook ac8, queen f2, king g7, rook h3, rook h8, and rook f1. This leaves a slight advantage for black to continue, although he's a pawn down. The activity on the dark squares in the open h file is more than enough for the sacrifice of that pawn. Instead, the continuation without h5 led MVL to play bishop h4. Same type of continuation with h3, rook ac8, attacking the knight on c2. Knight b4, getting the knight out of the dangerous c file. G takes f. E takes f was played. At this position, I considered that is it possible for Nepo to actually capture the bishop on g4 and hang on to the extra piece. It seems like there's just no way to hang on to the piece, as after h takes g4, the response is immediately f4, and then due to the pin on the g3 knight, it just seems to be lost. But there is actually an intermediate move in the form of knight h5, allowing white to check on f3 on f6. My apologies. So yeah, the continuation would have been very clear that if black decides to take on e1, that knight f3 will just leave a better position for white. Instead, the continuation might be queen takes g4, and simply queen d1 should hold and leave white with a piece for 2 pawns. However, this was not played. It would have been interesting to see these type of positions come up, where white just decides to grab the piece and try to keep the advantage and consolidate afterwards. However, the choice was to rather go with a safer option, which was e takes f5, a5. asking the knight on b4 where it would move to, picking up the piece on g4, takes on b4, knight e4, getting the knight to a nice central outpost. Bishop takes e1, knight f6 check, recapturing the queen, attacking the rook at the same time, f6, capturing the bishop, and going into this rather sharp rook endgame. So yeah, it's all about the speed at which any one of the two players can recapture the pawns. I believe black slightly has a weakness due to these double pawns, but MVL fixes this immediately by making sure to get a rook on the 7th rank. Rook e7, rook c7, just holding the position on the 7th rank as well. Rook f4, and these are all pretty standard continuations. Yeah, b3 is a very good move as it fixes the advancement of the double b pawns, and also getting it out of the rook square. So in fact, let's just go back to this position. Rook e7, rook c7, rook f4, king g6, takes, and now it's just a simple means of taking as many pawns as you can and holding on to the equal position until parties agree that it is a draw. So just to sort of sum it up, this was the end of the game. This was where both players agreed to a draw, and it's pretty easy to spot that this rook on b8 can never move without dropping this pawn on b7, and with any exchange of these pieces, it would just leave white and black with no chances to further pursue for win. So all in all, I think it was very interesting, good theory, something different. Bishop d3 in the opening, which is something that I haven't seen much of before, especially at the elite level. So hoping you guys enjoyed this. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Please by all means make suggestions in the comment section as to what you guys would like us to incorporate, or which type of games you would like more of, and we'll be sure to upload more great content for you guys to enjoy. Thanks.